Oh, we're live. Welcome along, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. For those that don't know me, let me introduce myself. Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey. I'm one of the presenters right here on Adorama TV, and we are live on location doing a photo session on location portrait shoot out here in, we have come miles to get here. It's my garden. We haven't actually come that far, but it doesn't matter. Location is location, out of the studio and into the wilderness. Now, if you're joining us for your first ever live, if this is the first Adorama live, let me know in the comments that you've seen. It's not, we've done loads, but if it's the first one that you've seen, let me know in the comments. And as you can tell, this is live, so it's not that anything can go wrong. It's really a matter of what will go wrong. And will you spot it? Because it will. This is one of the joys of the live. Unless you're watching the recording, because you can watch these after the live as well, in which case, hello, recording people. Say hello in the comments. Okay, I'm not here on my own. I know it looks like it, but I do have at least 3 other people and a cat I can see as well. So you can't see her, but you can hear Sam on the comments.
Hello, everybody. We've got people from everywhere. We haven't come very far.
Everywhere?
Everywhere. Shall I name a few?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
I'll sort my laptop
also,
out.
Also, a family shout out, because my sister-in-law, Carrie, and my brother-in-law, Dan, and my niece, she's our niece, my niece, Libs, are all watching. Hi, and my friend Petra, who says, I know this garden because she was here last week from Sweden.
Is this basically your friends? Is this just Sam's friends?
Yeah, my friends. Anyway, lots of people from everywhere. We've got Arizona. We've got Belgium. We've got, I saw Ukraine, Poland. Everywhere. They're from everywhere. Thanks for joining us.
The Space Coast and one from Maryland, where they make the most amazing cookies, in my opinion. So
you're just pinching my lines now.
Fantastic. Okay.
And Seth.
And
Mary Irene. Hey guys.
All right, thanks for joining us. I also have Sam. I've done Sam. I also have Freya on the Super Switcher. She'll be doing all the changing and technical bits. Awesome. And I have the amazing Chloe as on my model. Come in, Chloe. Come on, let's go. Let's get some photos. Let's get Chloe in. Let's face it, this is what you're here for. It's not for me. It's for Chloe. So they're all over there. Give them a wave. Yay. So this is live. If you've got any questions as we're going through for me or for Chloe, you can actually put them in the comments. Sam will fire the best questions if they're relevant over to me during the session. But also if you've got some suggestions on where you'd like this to go, feel free to pop them in, because we're going to do location lighting in 2 different ways. I'm going to do it with the daylight. It's just after 7 o'clock in the evening here in the UK, so we have rapidly depleting amount of ambient light, and we'll use some flash and we'll mix them up as we go through. Chloe, have a seat, make yourself comfy, because we're going to talk a little bit about kit first of all. I'm going to start with the easiest thing to actually work with, and that is this, the daylight, what you have in front of you. Daylight, if it is exactly the right light for your particular photo idea, it's the best light to use because it's free, it's available, and it's the fastest to set up, to the point where I can actually just take my camera, turn it on, because we're tethering, and set the tethering up and see if we can actually get a picture in almost in record time for an Adorama live. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, here we go. Okay, Chloe, aperture priority mode, wide open, f2.8 on this lens, point the camera at Chloe, take a picture, and that's it. We are up and running. And I can take pictures that quick. And that's the joy of ambient light. If the ambient light looks good, if it's what you're after, you can be up and running. So if it's a run and gun scenario where you don't want to bring any more kit than what you can physically carry, ambient light is a great choice. So I'm going to start there by just taking hopefully a few slightly better pictures than that one. I'm glad Freya took that off the screen quite quick. Thanks, Freya. That's good. So I've got kit. Let's talk kit. Is the question already?
Well, kind of. Lucy said, where do I find a Chloe for sale on Adorama? And then
it's a popular question.
Richard said, Chloe is one of a kind, really. We know that. She certainly is.
Okay, kit-wise, I'm using Olympus now, OM system cameras. This is an OM1, and I'm using a 40 to 150 millimeter lens, which if you're from a full frame background would be an 80 to 300mm lens, f2.8 all the way through, and by and large, that's where I want to be, wide open f2.8. The zoom gives me the flexibility, so I can take a picture with a 40mm lens, and I can go way back. I realise I'm probably going to go out of the screen, but that's probably a good time to put the picture on the screen. And that's closer to 150mm. So you can see I can change the look just by moving my feet. And when I move my feet, I get compression of the background. Ambient light allows me to see what's going to happen straight away. What I'm seeing is exactly what I'm going to get. So let's leave those on the screen. I'll just snap away and we'll take a few pictures. Chloe, if you look towards me, great, fantastic. And if I go way back out of shot, which makes the picture-in-picture work really well, doesn't it? But that works really nicely. So I can mix this up really easily. But the nice thing about working with ambient lights, one of the things I love about ambient light is you can switch your settings around really quickly and just keep going. So this is an f2.8 lens. I was trying really hard not to cough. Hold on. Quick slurp of water. I bet that sounds good on the... Okay, so that was an f2.8 lens, and this is a 45mm f1.2. So that's the equivalent of a 90mm f1.2 if you were, i.e., a full frame user. You'll find links to all of the kit I'm using in the video description below if you want to find out, and link back to Adorama. But I don't have to do anything here. I'm in aperture priority mode. I can dial in f1.2 and just take a photo. Here we go. And I'm going to get that lovely f1.2 dreamy, blurry background. Let's come in a little bit closer. Let's frame that up a little tighter. Fantastic. And I can step back. This is a prime lens, so if I want to change my crop, I have to move my feet. But as I move my feet, notice what's happening to the background. Let's go way back over here. So even though I'm on f1.2, what's changing on the background? It's getting progressively sharper. I come way back over here. So what's going on here? Why is my background becoming sharper? If anybody knows, stick it in the comments. Let's see if we can figure that one out. There's a question. Go for it, Sam.
Okay, so we have a question from Jim. While shooting with direct sunlight behind the model, for example sunset, how can I light the subject with such a bright light source directed to the camera? Because he's got a shoot coming up on the beach.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Jim. Had we have started this about 30 minutes before we did, I could have shown you that. There's a big cloud way over there at the moment, which I'm hoping is going to disappear. The answer is a reflector if you're using ambient light, or flash, which is what we're going to get to in a minute. Let's get a reflector out. Let's have a go. I don't think there's much to reflect at the moment, but Jim, for you, I will give it a try. So, travelling light.
So Chris had said, at least it's not raining, as that would have scuppered plans.
Oh, we were going to do this last month, Chris. Yeah, UK weather is classic. So, travelling light. Some sort of pop-up reflector is super useful. So I've got the Manfrotto Halo Compact Plus, which is white on one side, trust me, it's silver on the other. It's really small. I'll show you it folded down later on when we open a bit more gear up. It goes together. It's not the quickest one to put together. If you're in the market for a fast reflector, you can get the little pop-up ones, but this is my favorite reflector because it packs down really small. And at the end of the day, if it takes up too much space, you're probably not going to bring it with you. But you can use either the white side, or in this lighting, the silver side, to try and fill in some of the darkness if you have really dark shadows. So
you've had some replies.
Oh yeah, I asked a question. Brilliant.
Yeah. So distance, the depth of field expands with distance as subject, distance, Depth of field, dependent upon the relative distance from the subject to the background as well.
I think they got it, haven't they?
Ratio between the object to the background, depth of field, yeah.
Yep. I'll find a harder question for you later. Yeah, clearly
Thanks,
you
everyone.
guys are all way too good. You've watched too many Adorama TV videos. Yeah, basically, depth of field is a combination of your aperture, your focal length of your lens, and your distance between you, the subject, and the background. They all kind of play a part. So those are the three factors that were at play when my depth of field becomes effectively greater. It doesn't, but the results are different. Okay, complicated, but basically step back, get more depth of field, step in, get less depth of field. Okay, there is absolutely no sun whatsoever. Oh, there is a little bit. We can try the close-up camera through. Let's give that one a whirl. There we go. I don't know if we can see. We'll put it there. Let's do it. Let's tighten it up.
Oh, I can see that.
You can see that in your face. Yeah. So this is where you would definitely want to have an assistant with you, which I don't have.
Oh, that was good.
There we go. And I'm just looking at Chloe, just trying to see where the light's coming in. But so helpful having an assistant that's also your model. But if you've got someone who can hold this for you, that makes life so much easier because they can physically see where they're going to put it and keep the light on Chloe. We're going to get some sun before we're done. We will get sun and I will put this up again. Okay, but that should bounce a little bit of light in, fill in the shadows a little bit. There we go. Chloe, just look towards the light for the reflector, chin down slightly. Okay. F1.2, I'm using face detect and eye detect to try and make sure this is correctly in focus. And if I go in nice and tight, you can see the little catch light from the reflector. There's no flash firing here, there's no, well, the sun, but that's directly behind onto Chloe's shoulders. So that catch light has to come from something. There is also a massive caravan just off to the side. I think that's that long stretch that we can see there, but the little spot, I suspect, is our reflector doing its job. So that's one way of doing it. If you don't have a reflector, that's kind of a good point. If you don't have a reflector, just find a white wall. If you can find a white wall and use that as a bounce, that's the joy of locations. Get out there, try and find something that works with the lighting you have. You never know what you're going to get. So ambient light is light you can't control. It is what it is. Let's do some flash, because it's way more exciting. Much as I like ambient light, it's going to be flash, if I have the choice.
So can I ask a question?
I won't bring in my little secret then. Yeah, go on then.
No, you can do that if you want. So Brad, hi Brad. Chloe, where did you get that outfit? It looks classic and great. Just
Go on then. Yeah, it's all for you.
It's sadly not mine. This is styled beautifully by Sam, and I have to give it back afterwards, unfortunately.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I'll be wearing that, but not for doing anything where I'm going to get grubby.
Thanks for the question, Brad. All right, okay, so most important thing, if you're on a location shoot, this is the thing I bring absolutely every single time. It's got nothing to do with photography and everything to do with me wanting an easier life. And it is a folding, collapsible cart. So it folds completely, well, not completely flat, but flat. And it's got nice big chunky wheels, so we can go off-roading. It's bright red because the red one was cheaper than the black one. That's absolutely the truth. And I can get quite a lot of kit in here. So anything with wheels, especially big chunky wheels, really good if you're going to go on location. So kit-wise, I've got a softbox in here, but if I'm going to go on location, I need kit that is multifunctional, because the more it can do, then the less I bring, the more chance there is of me actually bringing it along. Because if it's too big and heavy, it's not going to come out of the car and it's not going to appear on location. So in this little bag, I have a softbox. In fact, I've got 4 light modifiers in this bag. 4. There we go. 1 softbox. That is the Parapop 38-inch. Put that over there. I have an umbrella, and this is a Westcott collapsible umbrella, which kind of folds down and in on itself, so it shrinks down to a really small size, and we'll try that in a little bit. I've got just a standard reflector, and this is the bag that the Manfrotto reflector comes in, but this is actually the Halo Compact Plus diffuser. So if I wanted a diffuser, I could set up a diffuser as well. So you can see how tiny they are, which is why you're much more likely to bring one on your travels. So that fits nicely into my little bag of bits. But flash-wise, this is my flash kit. So in here I've got 2 flashes. Let's open it up. There we go. Try not to do, oh, that's going to sound terrible with the microphone, sorry. So I've got a Explore 400 and an Evolve 200 Pro tucked in here. So it's not official Flashpoint policy, but if you get good with a craft knife, you can trim this little bit of their case off and fit a Evolve 200 in the end. It's not designed to do that. It's just like handy. So I can fit 2 flashes in here. I'm going to use the 400. I really don't need this much power. The light level is dropping quite quickly, but it's much better to have too much light and then run it at a low power rather than having not enough, or running your flashes more powerful than you really need to. You drain the batteries quicker, the recycle takes longer, and so on. And the other thing I love about the Parapop range of softboxes is they're incredibly light, which is lucky because this flash is quite weighty. Okay, one last really important thing. If you're going on location, whatever light stand you're taking, whether you're taking a C stand, whether you're taking a traditional light stand, pack a sandbag. The heaviest one you can bear to carry, because I mean, if you're Jim and you're going on the beach, you're going to have to put something at the bottom. I've had lights blow over with sandbags on. So without a sandbag, even on a completely calm evening like this, that would be a bad idea. Mostly because I'll trip over it. I mean, that's the big thing. It's me. It's me, and over you go, and then your flash goes and you're having quite a bad day. Okay. Let's put that there. Okay, if you're just joining us, welcome along to the Adorama TV Live. We are on location, doing location lighting. We've had to go with continuous daylight, and now we're going to build a little bit of flash in with the sun slowly setting behind the clouds, which is really disappointing. But hey, it's not raining, so glass half full, yeah? All right, so flash. Just because we're on location, the principles that I work in the studio still apply on location. So my first picture is going to be no flash at all. Okay, so let's switch out lenses. I'm going to change back to the one we started with. And I'm just going to dial in a few settings. Okay, so let's see where we were before. I'm going to put it into manual mode. I'm always in manual mode whenever I'm doing anything with flash, even on location. I'm going to use wide open f2.8. My flash sync speed, 250th of a second. My native ISO is 200. That's the thing I might change. We'll see as we go along. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's have a little look. So it's a little bit underexposed. Now, there's 2 ways I can go at this point. I can adjust my exposure looking at that background, but let's say we had a truly terrible background. With flash, you can completely change the situation you find yourself in. So if you're on location, you have a terrible background, you can remove that background So if I change my settings to maybe f11 rather than f2.8, and looking at that, I'm going to drop my ISO to 80. Here we go. I can get basically no flash, no picture. And if you've seen anything on Adorama TV, we're back in the studio. We can bring the studio on location. I've got total control of the ambient light, which is good news. So if I wanted to, spoiler alert, this isn't a good look for Chloe right now, but whilst we're here, if I wanted to, we could make this background completely black. I could do trial and error, or I can get my flash meter. Chloe, I'm going to pop this near your chin. Make sure it fires, it does. And what we were F11, weren't we? F11. Oh, so close. Oh, 1/4 power. Okay. Oh. Not sure we're going to see that in the dark, but yeah. There we go. F11. Okay, so my flash meter matches my camera settings. So regardless of what the ambient light is doing, the light on Chloe, I'm glad you're doing a nice pose, because these are going to be like studio dark pictures. We're pretty much in the studio. One little highlight. I go vertical. Here we go.
Take a question.
Of course I can.
So Donald asked, would you say natural light is harder to work with than studio lights?
It's a good question, Donald. It is, in as much as you've got absolutely, that's not strictly true, you have very limited control over the natural light. Now you might live in a part of the world where you have blue skies for hours on end every day and it's predictable. Or you can live in the UK where the light we had 20 minutes ago completely different to what we have now, and if we wait another 20 minutes we'll probably get even more terrible lighting, because that's how it goes. So continuous daylight, yeah, it is difficult to work with because it's not something you've got control over. Having said that, it's always there for you, isn't it? So it's quick, it's easy, and maybe your subject can make up for the lighting, your styling, your location might work best with a certain type of lighting. So the answer, as always the case with photography, the answer is it depends. All right, okay. So that's not what we want to do, but we could do this, okay? We're going to switch the cameras around because that's depressing. That's not what we want to do. We want to make use. We're here on a location. We've got a location. We want to make use of it. So I'm going to turn the flash off. I'm going to reset my camera. Native ISO 200 for my camera. Your mileage may vary. F2.8 wide open. And even without taking a photo, I can see that the camera's meter is telling me this is underexposing by 2/3 of a stop. And I think that's probably, I shouldn't judge by the screen I'm looking at out here. Yeah, I want to go a little darker, just a touch. So I'm going to take my ISO down to 100. And now it's telling me I'm underexposing by 1 2/3 stops. You know, that's pretty good. Happy with that. Okay, so that's possibly a little bit too dark now. Why do we always want something in the middle? And I can't dial in on this camera. It's 100 or 200. That's my lot. That's okay. I'm not going to be defeated, Chloe. I've got this. Okay, I got this. F3.2, ISO 200. Underexposing the ambient according to the camera's meter by 1 stop. Okay, good. So I'm working at f3.2, ISO 200, 250th of a second, my flash sync speed. If you're thinking we're going to do high-speed sync flash, not on this one. But we do have a lot of stuff on Adorama TV if that's what you want to cover. Right, reset to 200. Chloe, I'm going to pop this near your chin. Point this at the light, or turn the meter on. There we go. F3.2 is what I'm looking for. Ooh, there we go. Which camera am I on? I can do this one. Hang on. Oh, that's close. How's that? Does that work? I can't see it. 3.2, yep, okay. So once again, my flash is set to match my camera. And don't worry, if you don't have a flash meter, just take a picture, look at the results and adjust. If it's too dark, increase the flash power. If it's too bright, reduce the flash power. Yeah, I'm going to take some photos. You fire the questions.
Okay, so Chris asked, could you use the flash meter for ambient light?
Chris, that is a great question. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. So the flash meter that I'm using, link in the video description below, is capable of being just an ambient light meter or a flash meter. Yeah, great little thing.
Stephen asked, no grid?
No, no grid. There's not really a need for a grid. It's a good question actually, Stephen. It comes with a grid. If you want to use a grid, there is a grid available. Let's put a wide one on. I can see where I'm just looking over my shoulder at the... Notice. But what's the grid going to do? The grid is going to channel the light. It's going to stop it spilling and bouncing off of things you don't want the light to bounce off. But what is there to bounce off in this scene? I mean, if you go down, it's the grass. If you go up, it's the clouds. And they're probably 5,000 feet at the moment. And if you go to the sides, there's nothing for it to bounce off. So unless you really want to make Chloe's feet darker, and there is an argument for that, and there's nothing wrong with your feet, Chloe, I realise what that sounds like now, then there's no particular need for a grid, but a really good question. Okay. So this is great. So I can keep snapping away, and I'm going to get consistent results. At least from lighting point of view. I mean, Chloe's giving me amazingly consistent results. From the photography point of view, really good. Because the flash is always the same, it's always predictable, and as long as the ambient light doesn't change too much, and there's no sign of that massive cloud going over anytime soon, just really nice, isn't it? So I like these. I find these to be quite nice. I don't know about anybody else. Have we got any comments, Sam? Am I doing?
Well, I have a comment
or
a question from Johnny who said, what's the temperature there? I don't know. I'm not very good at temperature.
I'll tell you what Johnny might want to know. Is the temperature of my white balance. So I'm currently, which camera am I on? This one? For those that like technical specs. Oh. Here we go. That is the technical specs I'm currently shooting at. Okay, so my white balance is set to a fixed white balance of 5600K. So I've got effectively just a standard white balance, but I could change that. I could make it colder. Let's go for maybe 3600K.
So Seth says, got you playing live right now on 4 screens in the new event space they're building in the store.
I mean,
amazing.
I wanted to come and do some demos in the event space, but I kind of wanted to do them in person, Seth. But I'm happy to be the guinea pig. If you've not been following Seth's Instagram updates on the new event space, it looks amazing. So 3600K, pretty cold, pretty miserable. Let's go for 8600K, 8600K. Okay, and that's going to look a lot warmer. Probably a little bit too warm. I'm doing everything in camera raw, so I've got full editorial control over the white balance later on, so I can change these, but sometimes it's nice just to have something that looks about right. Maybe a little less warm than that. Let's try 7400. Okay. Terrific. Okay, Chloe sat down, but we can get her to stand up because sitting down is one of the hardest ways to model. But if I get Chloe to stand up, I need to do something with my light. So if we were using ambient light at this point in time, I would just keep going. Just keep going. But because I'm using flash, I'll get to your question in a second, Sam, I've got to raise my flash up because we'll edit that out. That will come out. We won't leave that in the video. That's fine. There we go. Because light comes from above. If you put a softbox, so the top of the softbox is level with the person's head, then most of the light is coming from below them and it looks kind of a little Halloween-y. So ideally you want their head to be roughly the center or lower from the height of your softbox, in an ideal world. Okay, yeah, go on, far away, Sam.
So Stevie asked, do you set the flash at around the same distance from the model outside as you do in the studio?
That's a really good question,
He
Stevie.
said, great video.
Again, it depends. So we're going to switch out lenses as we go through to a wider angle lens, which is going to require me to do some different light positions. But by and large, yeah, I mean, if I had a bigger studio, maybe that would be a different answer. But yeah, I like to have the light within reaching distance of the model. So if it blows over, they can catch it for me. It's not true, but I mean, it has happened. But yeah, I've never really thought about it, but yes, I probably do. Okay, I also don't want to put it too much. I should also say with flash as well, I can do this badly. I can put the flash here and do kind of, I say it's badly, you can't take a bad picture of Chloe, it's really hard work. Okay, I mean, I've tried. Okay, or I can put the light to the side and get something like this. So I can have flat light, or I can have that little shadow. Can you see how the shadow comes in just on this side of the face compared to this side where it's completely, well, fairly evenly lit? You can tell by the catch light. The catch light is always a giveaway. Go look at catch lights when you want to see what another photographer has done. Okay, now it's gone round a little bit to the side. I could even pop it. Hang on, Chloe. What are the chances I'm going to trip over that tether tools cable? Now I've said it, I'll be okay. Okay. I'm coming this way, I'm not risking it. Okay, here we go. See, the great thing about Chloe is I didn't have to tell her to turn towards the light, she just knew. So what I've done there is I've put the light in the same direction as the sunlight. So we've got that feeling that this could be real sunlight. I mean, it's not, the catch light is a giveaway, isn't it? The bit of string coming through your eye was a bit of a shame as well. These are the little things you don't catch, isn't it? If only we had something I could stand on. Hang on, Chloe. 2 options, 3 options. Take the string out in post-processing, take the string out in the real world, change your point of view and go again. This is not part of the plan. Whoa, and also it's incredibly uneven. But there we go.
Actually, a couple of people have said about the lines.
String.
Yeah.
See, what you don't get, so when you're doing a live demo or when you're on a location and everything's flowing and you're getting excited, those are the sorts of things you miss. Tethering is really useful because it means other people can see what's going on and they can catch things like that sometimes for you.
So Brad has said almost 400 in the chat, which is great. So many people here, which is lovely. And only 67 likes. Don't forget to like the video if you're enjoying this or learning from it. Thank you, Brad. And yeah, please go and like it. We can do more. We can do more.
We can, yeah, absolutely. Probably not any more outside because the time that we're doing this, our next one in 4 weeks' time, it's going to be dark at this time of night. It's like we're an hour out from sunset, so we'll be back in the studio. We are booked in 4 weeks today. Exciting. Okay, yeah, I was going to take a few photos. Oh yeah, I was going to do a few photos. How am I doing on the time? Oh, badly. Okay, cool. It seems strange, but there was actually a plan and times and everything for this. Oh, I so want to take that string out. Chloe, can you step that way and keep going? That's it. So I'm putting Chloe a little bit closer. Yeah, I'll have to move the light. Putting Chloe a bit closer to the string just to try and give me a little bit more room so I can keep the string out of the shot, but I am struggling. Oh, okay, yeah. This is where we go find a new location, but time is not on my side. That's nice though, I like that. That's really nice. So that has a nice natural feel to it. Doesn't feel over flashed, at least from the screen I'm looking at, which is kind of good. Okay, but let's change it up a little bit. So let's mix things around slightly. So we've done ambient light and we've done flash, but why are you doing either? If you're going out on location, one of the most important things that's going to make the difference between a good shoot and a really good shoot, in my mind at least, is the purpose. What's the purpose of your shoot? What's the theme? What are you trying to get out of it? Having an idea before you leave home means that when you get to your location, your pictures are going to be stronger. They just are. You might have noticed, Chloe, did you come like this? No. No. Sam's styling, done a great job. So we need to make use of that. Let's get this stuff out of the way. Move all this out of the way. And we'll move the flash out the way.
So Andy said, I shot in the garden yesterday with studio backdrops hung from the washing line. Worked really well and saved on studio costs. What a great idea, Andy.
Absolutely, bits of string. We have a general rule of thumb, which is if it's not in the picture, it doesn't matter what it is, if it does the job. So yeah, string. I had lots of bits of string. I have lots of random things up on the walls that no one ever sees doing a job. So Chloe, as you might have guessed, is dressed in a sort of a vintage style, what are we going to call it, washing day kind of thing? Yeah, laundry. So at no expense whatsoever. Oh no, you did, there is expense. At some expense, Sam bought a couple of white fabric curtains, and this is just white fabric from the studio.
Actually, they're just sheets. They're just sheets, aren't they?
Bed sheets.
Yeah, it's just I had real trouble trying to get them that weren't fitted. You know, the ones that have the bunchings in the corner. I was like, I just want the flat ones, thank you.
Yeah, they're basically a couple of bed sheets and a couple of bits of white fabric that we've used in previous Adorama TV videos. And super useful they are as well for creating a bit of style. So we get some movement, which gives us a randomness to the pictures. Movement always creates a little bit of uncertainty, and a little bit of uncertainty is a good thing in your photos. Okay, let's take off the transmitter and switch back to ambient light, because I can almost see, I don't know if Frey can pan the camera around in a minute, but it's coming. Okay, aperture priority mode, ISO 200. My light's in the way. Of course. How's that? Yeah, the camera's not doing it. That, hang on. That's the sun, just there. There it is.
Quick.
That bit there, that. It's a rare thing in the UK. There it is. Okay. So aperture priority mode, wide open, f2.8 on this lens. Chloe now has something to do. And I don't know about you, Chloe, but does that make it a lot easier to work? Yeah, it does. It just makes life a lot easier. Okay, so I'm using the long end of my lens, and this is flat lighting, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, it really does. If flat lighting is your thing, you could spend a lot of time trying to recreate this with light. My exposure on this, I'm actually using the camera's ESP, automatic exposure, sort of intelligent exposure, and it's doing a lot better job than it did when I ran through this earlier on. I've got to say, this is way better. The more white I include in my image, however, the more the camera's meter is starting to struggle. So looking at that one, can we make that picture a bit bigger, Frey? Yeah, thanks. I'll put my glasses on, let me just double check it. Looking at Chloe's face, there is a little bit of a catch light. Again, the light bouncing off the caravan out of shot is really helping me. It's a little bit underexposed. I would probably want to go a little bit brighter. So by and large, when it comes to the exposure on portraits, the thing you want to get correctly exposed is your subject's face. There's always exceptions to every rule, but that's kind of the idea, isn't it? Get the face correct, work from there. Now there's a couple of ways we could do this. Oh, I tell you what we could do. Hadn't thought of this. Hang on, let's see how long my tether cable goes. Bear with me. All those people that said I've got a tether cable that's too long, well, they're not laughing now, are they? Okay. Can you still see me? Yeah, there we go. Around the back. Okay.
Hi.
Hey, Chloe. Marvellous. Okay, so if I spin everything around, I can actually get light in Chloe's face like that by putting Chloe into the light. It's soft, diffused, overcast light. And if I'm really good, hang on, here we go. Here we go. Wait for it. That's the background I'm dealing with. So that's the problem. So, backgrounds make a huge difference. Backgrounds are the thing if you don't pay attention to them. You have a vintage theme with a modern car straying in the corner, or something that doesn't feel right and out of place. Sometimes you can fix it with a bit of post-processing cropping or cloning, but if you can get it right in camera. Hence we're going this way around. There is a tiny bit of sunlight coming around. It's desperately trying, isn't it? So I'm going to include a little bit of the sky. Oh yeah, I was saying about the exposure being wrong. So I got excited, I could see the sun. You can see, go back to that picture, that was perfect. All right, there you go. The camera auto exposure is now starting to struggle. So I can use exposure compensation. Hang on, they're trying to get a cat into the... Really? Are we that desperate for viewers? We will get a cat, yeah, we'll get a cat in. Hang on, I'll go. Jake, you coming in? Here we go. What? All right, let's see, can we get the viewing numbers up? Can we all put a cat emoji in the comments? Look at that. Jake, you're adding to the view. You're doing this for the greater good. Well, he could see himself on the telly. He's looking up. Anyway. Where was I? Oh, yeah, exposure. Well, in the edit, this will come together really well. The exposure. I can use exposure compensation. So I can use a little plus minus thing to say, okay, camera, I know what you're trying to do, but I want you to increase the exposure by maybe, well, let's put 2 stops in. Okay, 2 stops extra light. Can you see how that's changed the feel of the picture between that one and that one? That's what the camera wants. Maybe that's what you want. Doesn't that feel better? Maybe somewhere in the middle. Okay, so camera, maybe just go for 1 1/3 stop. So the light on Chloe's face is what I'm looking at. And that feels a lot closer. I actually really like that bright one. That's completely wrong.
Lots of cat emojis, by the way. Thanks, everyone. Jake really appreciates it.
Yeah, he's around with you now, isn't he? Yeah. So I'm actually going to go bright. It's technically wrong, but if you like it and it's your photo, it's exactly what you want to do. So these are great. These are lovely. I'm going to move myself around as well. The thing I love about natural light with ambient light is I can just work my way through the scene, try different spots, see what works, see what doesn't work, and I don't have to worry about moving a light around. It's fantastic. Yeah, these are really nice. Oh, the sun here, I can see. Oh, Chloe, let's bring you this side. Let's come up here, so you're going to bring that side up there. That's it. You got it. Yeah, you're way ahead of me.
So, message from Ollie, Chloe, for you. There isn't a look you can't pull off, Chloe.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's... anyway. Okay, so sunset behind. My camera is shooting straight into the light. And sometimes it's getting it right because the exposure is shifting. As I'm changing, the camera's exposure is shifting. I could use manual. This is a perfect opportunity to switch to manual mode and get consistent. Oh, not that one. Don't show that one, Frey. That's terrible. Consistently. Consistent results. Even if they're consistently wrong, consistent can be your friend. Okay, but you can see I'm getting the exposure right on Chloe's face. I mean, that's a great expression, Chloe. Love that. How would we describe that expression? If you've got a word to describe that, add that to the comments. I'd love to know what everybody thinks. Because it's hard to put your finger on. Weirdly, when you're taking portraits, the things that feel the wrong thing to do are often the best looks. And that's where a professional model is happy to do that kind of thing and not think you're kind of crazy. Maybe they do. Fantastic. So I'm deliberately keeping these bright because A, I like them, and B, it's the right sort of exposure on Chloe's face. So these have quite a distinctive look and feel. Really nice.
We have bemused, bewildered, blank behind the eyes. She's like, what?
I can't find it now. Chloe, did you delete it whilst I wasn't looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
That way.
How are we doing on time? Oh my goodness, look at the time. So much fun. Right, okay, so that looks really nice, but what about flash? Well, flash is going to give a very different feel. So let's bring the flash in. Let's make sure it's turned on. So the thing to remember with flash is you can only add flash to the shadows in your picture. Okay? If that makes sense, you can't add more light if it's already light. You have to start with something darker and add light in, which is why we always do that no flash, no picture thing in the studio. So, whoops. So, I need to start with a very different set of numbers. I'm going to switch to manual mode. Always manual mode with me in Flash. I'm going to go wide open f2.8, flash sync speed 250th of a second, ISO 200, and see what I get. Okay, Chloe, here we go. I'm going to include a bit of sky in this as well. Okay. So, all right. Yep, not bad. Let's try ISO 80 and see how that looks. Okay. So, I'm looking at the background. I'm not looking at Chloe, I'm looking at the background. There is still detail back there. There's lovely bokeh back there. There is burnt out highlights there, but not too much. Yeah, that's quite nice. I like this little area coming through here, but I know we're going to lose that. Yeah, okay, let's try that. Let's go with that. So that's going to be my base setting. And now I'm going to add my own light in to fill in those shadows. So where should we put the light? Here's my solution. Leave it where it is. Start there. If you don't know where to put it, if you're not sure, start with where you left it last. I mean, it could be perfect. You never know. Never know. How long? Oh, we've got 10 minutes to go. So if you're joining us now, you kind of missed the fun bits, but the best bit, I think, is still to come. If you haven't already done so, click the like button, thumbs up, click the little heart thing. It all helps with the spreading of the information around the internet. And if you haven't done so, click on the subscribe button. But if you have clicked on the subscribe button, don't click it again. I know. I had somebody say, oh, I've clicked it like 20 times. No, click it 21 times or 19 times, but not 20. Okay. Oh, ISO 80. Forgot. Okay. Sorry, Chloe, I'm just going to reach in and pop this near your chin. F2.8. 1/32 power. That's all I need. 1/32 power. There is, the sun is actually coming through. I know. Okay. Incredibly, the sun is now coming blazing through. Of course it is, isn't it? Okay, by and large, I want to put the flash at 90 or 45 degrees to me. So wherever I'm going to stand, I'm going to move the flash around, but I'm going to try and keep it roughly the same distance from Chloe to save me having to keep re-metering. Okay, that's a little bit squarish, flashish. There we go, let's pop that there. Yeah, now the sun's out, I really want to change everything. So I've moved the flash round to the side a little bit more. So, whoops, wow, that is seriously suddenly, oh. And this is what happens when you're on location. 50 minutes waiting for the sun to come out, and it comes out with the last 9 minutes to spare. Right, you stay there, Chloe. Don't let the sun go. Keep it talking. I'm going to switch cameras. Oh my goodness me. Switch lenses rather. Wide angle lens. Here we go. Wide angle lens and back to basics. So I need to adjust my exposure. Okay, so now I want to get this really bright sun in the picture. Pop that on the screen. That's f8, same settings, but f8. We can do a quick bit of maths. So I was at 1/16th power f2.8, 1/8 power at f4, 1/4 power f5.6, 1/2 power f8. Oh, and my camera says what? Focus directly into the sun. Are you mad? There it goes. Whoa. Okay. So what we've ended up with is almost day to night. And we're going to make this better. Okay, that's way too bright. That's way too dark. The light is changing really fast. I may end up stopping talking and just taking pictures. Just talk amongst yourselves for a little bit. Here we go. Okay, just pulling the light down a little bit. Okay. Literally waited all day for this. Okay, there we go. So now we're getting somewhere that's a little closer. I'm accepting that part of my pictures are going to be blown out. I think that's really important. I'm putting the flash at quite an acute angle because it's simulating sunlight, and I might just pop the power up a little bit. We're at 1/16th power. Let's try 1/16th. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bright. 1/32nd power. And you'll notice that the background isn't really changing too much. The light on Chloe is what's changing because I've got flash and I'm in control of the flash. Allegedly, I say I'm in control of the flash. Where's the sun? Where's the sun? There it is. I'm just looking at it popping over Chloe's shoulder, so I'm just moving myself a tiny little bit. Let's come down in between, let's see if we can get this. Okay, yeah, I can still do this. Oh, if only I was taller. Okay, that's kind of nice. This could work. How are we doing on time? Oh, 5 minutes. Oh, okay. Chloe, you didn't want to go home anytime soon, did you? No. I mean, there's probably only 10 minutes of this sunlight left. Okay, so I've moved everything around, but I haven't moved my flash. And I think I need to. Okay. So this is what you don't get on a studio day. On a studio day, you get everything under your control. On a location day, you don't. Okay, I'm going to change my colour as well to make it warmer. Okay, yeah, this is working. This is good. Here we go. Sorry I've stopped talking, everybody. This is not how we do the lives normally. Normally I won't stop talking, but... How are we doing on the chat? Is anyone still watching?
Lots of people watching, yeah. So I can give you some comments.
Yeah, go for it. I'm going to switch to non-flash just because we need to mix it up a little bit.
Zia says, thanks, I've been on the fence because I mostly do sports under harsh daylight conditions. Jim says, great live, thank you all. And William said, thank you all for these amazing photos. And now I don't know how you'd say that name. There's a winning picture in there and Gav will find it. I mean, that is true. And Andy said, Gavin, have you thought about doing an ironing shoot next time and get Chloe to do all your shirts?
I did grab the shirt a little bit quick this evening, but yeah. Didn't think I was going to need a shirt, and then it got really cold. Okay, so, a bit of a reflector. You can't see at this point. I realise you can't quite see. Oh, that's not too bad. There's Chloe. But, if I get this, there we go. Can you see how that's throwing light onto Chloe?
There.
Yeah, that's
Totally
it.
see it.
Okay, so I think it was Jim earlier who asked about, there we go. How do you shoot directly into the sun? Oh, you don't do it in manual mode when you've set your camera for underexposing, that's for sure. Not that I've ever made a mistake like that before. Okay, just changing my settings. Hang on, Chloe. Oh, run out of fingers and thumbs. Okay. Beautiful. That's nice. Oh, this is taking a lot of concentration. Look towards the sun for me, Chloe, would you? But don't look into the sun because it really hurts. Okay, I'm watching my background. I'm watching the fence, watching the neighbour's house. I mean, not literally, that sounds really creepy now I say that. Okay, I need a bit more elevation. How have we got? Oh, 2 minutes. I can do this in 2. Whoa.
Great sound effects there.
Okay, fantastic. It's not a lot of light, it's just a tiny amount of light.
So Petra just asked, doesn't that hurt Chloe's eyes when using the silver side of the reflector?
That is a very good question. You see, I would say it does. I've been the other side of this. Strongly recommend every photographer takes the time to experience what you're asking somebody else to do. So I've been on a beach when somebody shone this straight in my eyes and then asked me to do a piece to camera. It was not a good day and it hurts. So yeah, if you're going to do that, bear that in mind. Okay, bring you this side of Chloe, last few. I'm going to grab the little wicker basket. The sun is pretty much about to disappear behind a cloud. I'm going to be using the best lens I have, which is the one that's on the camera right now. Fantastic. Amazing. Oh, getting a little bit of blowing going on, which is really nice. I like that. And I go vertical. What I haven't done is any vertical. I must do some vertical. That's a good one to show. Did you see that one? Did you see what happened to her arm? Slight movement. I'm not using flash. Camera movement will show my shutter speed is dropping really low. Bring my aperture back up. My ISO back to, yeah, there we go, that's lovely. And last couple of pictures and then we're done because the sun is gone. Last one, here we go. Look back towards me. Perfect. Smashing. And there we go, wow. That got a bit frantic at the end. Absolutely gorgeous. So we have a mixed bag of pictures. Somebody said earlier, there's a good one in there somewhere. There are times where you can control everything, where you can slow the session down, where you can be very picky about the lighting position, the posing, every aspect of your shoot. And then there are times when you're on location when you have 10 minutes and that's it, the sun's gone. That's all we had. You then have to balance that up between, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know there's going to be some duff ones. I know there's going to be 1 or 2 good ones. And that's exactly where we were there. That is real world photography. It's really good fun. It's so much fun. Quick review. How do we do it? Let's pop them on the screen. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so these nice, but that fence panels, if only we knew someone who was going to replace those fence panels, they won't be there next month. That's kind of nice. Yeah, love the lighting on Chloe. So these are all the ambient light pictures. Is that you saying it was lovely, Sam? Thank you. I think so. I quite like that. I like the softness down here, the fact there's actually real movement in there. And that's going to be great. That, yeah, could be sharper. Okay. There's some absolute stunners in there. Okay, and then I just want to dive back into the flash. So these are the flash pictures. I had a little bit more of the flash going on, I think. Yeah, there we go, you can tell. So these have a very different feel. Very different feel. And that's what the great thing about photography. There isn't a right and there isn't a wrong. There is always something to do that is different and unique. And there you go. That is Adorama TV Live on location. It's nice to be out the studio once every now and again. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, give it a thumbs up, give it a little heart. I can't do the heart thing. Something that you can't see them, but they're doing it over there. That's really good. Thank you. Yeah, click the subscribe button. If you like more of these live-based content, then Daniel Norton, the awesome Daniel Norton, is going to be here on Adorama TV this time next week, plus an hour or 2, doing something in the studio, I think. And if you want more of Adorama TV Live, there is also a whole extra channel of it, Adorama Events channel, where we have long-form videos, which are all they're a little bit more like PowerPoint presentations, so they are much more structured, much more informative, and less well, this, really. So if that's more your thing, we've got you covered. And of course, we've got all the regular Adorama TV content. So we're going to be back next Thursday with a pre-recorded video, and we'll be back in 4 weeks' time, back in the studio for, well, you have to wait and see what that is. So first of all, a few thank yous to the awesome Chloe. Give it up.
Oh, sorry. Frighten the cat.
You still want the cat? Jake the cat. Freya on the super switcher, did a great job, and Sam on the comments.
Thanks everyone for all your comments. I love reading them all, and I know Gavin goes back and looks at them as well. So sorry if we didn't get to your question. Thank you to everyone who answered all the questions that we didn't get to. You guys are awesome. Bye.
Okay, and we will catch you again on the next Adorama TV. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.